24 games, first time you've lost in that time. Must be disappointing. How's it feel as captain, and how do you pick your team up now going into the next games?
Yeah, listen, it's never nice to lose a game. And obviously, no matter how we conceded the goal, who scored the goal, is a bit disappointed. But, the games come thick and fast. We have to take this on the chin. And luckily for us, it's halfway. It's very cliche, of course, but it is. And I'm really looking forward to the game in Anfield in a couple of weeks.
Obviously, you've just mentioned it there, the big talking point, the big incident. I was looking at you. I've seen you be angry before. You was very angry today. Have you got to talk us through that? What your opinion was on that?
It was a solid tackle, in my opinion, and I think everyone else can agree with that. It was a yellow, worthy of a yellow. Obviously, we played on, and when the ball got with the goalie, I think Costas got some treatment, and obviously I was asking where's the yellow, and obviously there's a linesman, there's a fourth official, but no one wanted to take that big decision because obviously it's going to be a second yellow, and eventually obviously it's quite ironic that he scores the winner tonight. And
obviously he scores with Tsimikas being off the pitch as well, which must feel like a double blow as well, right? Yeah, obviously the whole situation I think it's not great. It's not great, but yeah, we can talk about decisions all day long, and I think last year I've been in the bad books already in the beginning of the season. So we just keep going. I think the ref today with his team made a mistake in this particular moment. Everyone unfortunately can make mistakes, but it was quite an obvious one in my opinion. Yeah, and then I just want to say on the performance, it felt a little bit disjointed. It wasn't. I've been at 5-6 of your games this season. The tempo of the ball wasn't moving the same way. Again, I was watching you vividly telling people, "Come on, concentrate, get into the game." Did it feel a little bit off from the start? I think obviously the break didn't help the start. I won't blame it because I think the first couple of balls we give away too easy. Obviously, they want to show a reaction, obviously, from the last game we played against each other, and we all knew that. I've mentioned it before, and we had to be much more solid in possession in the beginning, switch it from side to side, and don't give them really momentum to get into the game. And I think we did it better, obviously, towards the end of the first half, in my opinion. Second half was also at times better, but obviously not consistent and good enough, and we have to work on that. Just looking ahead for the rest of the season, obviously coming into this season, the outside noise was it's going to be a difficult season for you guys, a lot of change, etc., etc. How do you feel you will manage the second half of that season now with expectation that you're going to win not only league but everything else? Listen, I think if you play for Liverpool, I think the expectation is always there. And I'm really looking forward to everything that's coming our way, all the difficult moments that will come our way. Obviously, hopefully, a lot of good moments. And I think it's only a beautiful thing to be in the position where we are. So embrace it. And that's why I will mention to the boys as well. It's a very privileged position. We work so hard to be in this position. So let's keep working hard and let's see what it brings us. Absolutely. Appreciate you as always, big fella. Nice to see you, bro.
All round, but let's be honest, should he be on the pitch?
Well, I think if Stuart Atwell gets the first one right when he gives him a yellow card, he puts himself in a position, Stuart Atwell, because I don't think the first one is a yellow card when he goes in here. Bergvall, this was one on Luis Diaz. The only thing I would say with Bergvall, it gives Stuart Atwell an opportunity, the decision to make, and I think Stuart Atwell got that one wrong. I don't think that was it, the yellow card. I mean, when we go to the second one with Tsimikas, I've got no defence for Bergvall. I think that was this one here. You see he lunges, he catches Tsimikas, and that one should have been a yellow card. If he gets one right, one wrong, you can't even it up. And Liverpool are certainly punished off the back of that with a few seconds later the ball in the back of the net.
It's very difficult for anybody to understand, isn't it? How if you get booked for the first one, you don't get booked for the second.
And the second one there is worse than the first one, which doesn't make a lot of sense. And you can see Bergvall running off, with his head between his tail between his legs, if you like. Because if you look at that one there, it's rash. And when he's starting to get closer to Tsimikas, you're kind of cringing because you know a yellow card's coming. And then the referee doesn't give it. It's baffling.
He plays the advantage, and we are fully expecting him to go and find Bergvall, and Bergvall goes. Bergvall goes over the other
trying
side.
to hide, but it has a monumental effect on the rest of the game, because what then happens? He has to come off for treatment. Then that leaves Liverpool with 10 men. So you can see him here. He has to come off for 30 seconds. That's the rules. So not only do you still have Bergvall on the pitch, Liverpool now have to play with 10 men. And you can see that it obviously changes the shape of the team. You've got Endo and Virgil van Dijk. You've got Diaz playing now as a left-back. And it just has a huge effect. But what I will say is Spurs certainly make it count. It's a brilliant piece of forward play. He gets hold of it and he plays Bergvall in, who's the 1 minute he's the villain for Liverpool, and he becomes obviously the hero for Tottenham Hotspur. A brilliant piece of play from their perspective. But if you are a Liverpool player, Liverpool coach, Liverpool fan right now, you are thinking, how on earth is he on the pitch? And not only that, why is our left back not on the pitch?
They are absolutely seething here.
But that's a great goal.
Oh, take nothing away from the goal. It's brilliant. Solanke, absolutely magnificent, who I thought absolutely worked his socks off. Not just that, he's been like that all season. A lone striker running in. He then gets his body between him and Kanate, so he can't get it, and then he sees the run from Bergvall. But I can understand Liverpool's frustration. Of course,
you'd be fuming, wouldn't you?
Once the first yellow card has been given, and then you see the tackle on Tsimikas, if that's the other way, you want in a second yellow card without a shadow of a doubt.
I mean, the ridiculous thing about it is we constantly demand consistency, and we sometimes think, well, different referees referee games in different ways and so on and so forth, and we'll view... But the challenges are virtually identical within 10 minutes of each other in the same game with the same referee. So in that sense, you can legitimately ask, where is the consistency?
Well, I'm not one for the fact that if the referee felt something inside him where I maybe shouldn't have given a yellow card for the first one, I don't think you can then carry on the game and go, well, I'm going to make up for it, and not book him for the second one, which is, for me, a more obvious yellow card than the first one. Yes, on the first one, he doesn't really make contact, but he's running at speed, Diaz, down the wing. He gets away from Bergvall, and there's minor contact, if any, but the referee's seen it and gone, yep, that's a yellow card. And it's the second one for me. It's 100% a yellow card, and therefore he shouldn't be on the pitch, and the guy's got the winning goal. But
do you think the first one's a yellow card?
Well,
but it becomes irrelevant, doesn't it?
It does, but do you think the first one...
But what I will say is, I think what saves Bergvall is that they pay an advantage. I think if it would have been an initial foul, he blows up, I think all the players would have got round him, and I think it would subsequently been a second yellow card. Yeah. But I think because there's such a long passage of play after it, I think that's maybe what ends up saving him. Because you think, OK, so much has gone on. But I was always amazed that Liverpool players didn't make more of a fuss about it. They sort of almost let it go.
Well, they did go and question the referee at the end, Virgil van Dijk in particular. And you can see him saying, it's a second yellow, it's a second yellow. Let's hear from the Liverpool captain with Patrick Davison.
Virgil, we saw you talking to the referee at the end. Probably don't need to be a detective to work out what it was about, but can you give us an outline of what you said?
Listen, I think it was quite obvious that it was going to be a second yellow. Obviously, I think it was pretty clear, and there was a coincidence. Then a minute later, obviously, he scores the winner. But listen, it is what it is. He made a mistake in my opinion, and I told him that. And he thinks maybe he didn't, but it was quite obvious, I think, and everyone on the sideline knew exactly that it was supposed to be a yellow.
Yeah, I mean, on top of the fact that, I think everyone would agree it should have been a second yellow. Am I right in thinking you were then without Tsimikas on the pitch at that second that the goal goes in?
I have no idea. Obviously, it goes quite quick. The fact is that he should have been off. I think there's a linesman there, there's a fourth official there, there's VAR, there's the referee, and he doesn't get a second yellow. I'm not saying that this is the reason why we lost, of course, tonight, but it was a big moment in the game.
Okay, what was the reason then that you lost?
Obviously, you play against an intense team with good attacking players. They can make it difficult. You keep running. I think we created good moments, good opportunity at times. Not really clear-cut chance, in my opinion, but still enough that we could have scored. Unfortunately, we didn't. It's quite cliche, but it's half-time now, and I'm looking forward to the game back at Anfield.
As a team, would you say a level or two below your best tonight?
a level of 2. I'm not sure a level of 2, but obviously at times I think we could have done better. But that's part of football as well. You try to play your best game ever, every one of us, and at times we played through them nicely, and we created some 1v1s on the side and some dangerous moments. But they were able to defend it much better than they did when we played a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, we move on. We take it on the chin. Like I said, it's half time, and we have another 90 plus minutes to go. And like I said, I'm really looking forward to that.
Thank you, Virgil.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
I suppose, that decision aside, bigger picture, they weren't at their fluent best.
No, they were very average today. Let's be totally honest. I think they didn't have that spark. The game first half was very difficult. It never really got any flow. Bentancur was obviously had his injury. That took an 8-minute spell out the game, and it was a little bit flat. They lost Quansah, and it just never really caught fire like we expected it to. And then second half, I honestly thought Liverpool would go on with a quality. We'd have made 3 subs, and then that would then make it count. I think you certainly have to congratulate Tottenham. They have taken an enormous amount of stick, as Michael says, this season. The manager's been questioned by pretty much everybody. The effort they showed was absolutely incredible. Young players playing out of position. Archie Gray was magnificent today. They brought in a goalkeeper. I thought it was a really, really impressive performance from Spurs today. And the real pressure and intensity, after losing the weekend, I thought they were excellent.
No, I'd echo what Jamie says. I think this can be a performance they can be proud of. I think they got Liverpool on a night when they weren't at the best, nowhere near the best. As I said, when they came here and beat Spurs 6-3, that was demoralising for them. And Ange, that's question after question. But, I mean, I have to look at Bergvall, 18 years of old. Kinski, 21 years of age, just come in. And Archie Gray, I thought the 3 of those players were absolutely magnificent. Bergvall, certainly the way he pressed and made the opportunity for Pedro Porro, but from back to front I think it can be a performance they can be proud of, but it is only halfway, and I don't see Liverpool playing like this at Anfield in the first week of February when the second leg is.
It's amazing though, football, isn't it? When you feel how aggrieved Ange was the weekend, and then all of a sudden we roll it on 3 or 4 days, and then you get that today, the emotion that you have to go through as a manager, and then you get that little break. Sometimes you need that. You need a bit of luck in football.
Yeah, you see the handball situation at the weekend, and after it, he's blaming the referee when I wasn't too sure. Tonight they're on the right
side of one
decision. Exactly. Football's a game of fine margins at times, and tonight they can probably count themselves a little bit fortunate with that decision. But then on the other hand, I think you'll be proud of the performances.
I just don't think Stuart wants to go back on the mic again. It feels like Gladiators.
Well, Gladiators. That was a momentous moment as well. Let's get some reaction from the Spurs camp, shall we? Dominic Solanke is alongside the man who made his debut tonight, Anthony and Kinski. They're both with Pat.
It's well played. Anthony, a special night for all concerned with Tottenham. For you, maybe even one of the best nights of your life?
Yeah, definitely. I would say I'm a big dreamer. I always make my own visions of the future, but probably this dream I have never dreamt this one. So yeah, amazing, and I'm really happy for the whole club because I came 3 days ago and everything works so good. All the people are kind. So. Yeah, I'm so happy for me, definitely, but also happy for them and for the whole team that we made it. But still, yeah, just the first leg.
Dom, so you've lived something like Anthony's lived tonight. Coming into a big club, having to make a debut, the nerves and anxiety that come with it. How well has he done this evening?
No, it was phenomenal, honestly. To be fair, he came 3 days ago, 1 or 2 training sessions with us, and to look that comfortable out there, that confident. Can't give him enough credit.
Thank you.
I mean, you probably don't even know all the lads properly yet, do you?
Yeah, but I have to give the credit to him, But yeah.
Why?
Because I haven't played with a better striker so far.
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
Are we red? Are we red or no?
Yeah, I mean, I tell you what. Was it the first touch? Was a flick over Jota's head? You've got to have some confidence to do that, Dom, haven't you?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I said, he looked like a natural there, like he's been training with us, playing with us for years. So, especially at his age as well, to come in and have the impact he did so soon. This is a big credit to him. And to have him at the club now is great for us. We're going to need him. Got a lot of big games coming up. Still a lot of games left of the season. So, hopefully we can achieve something special.
Yeah, it looked very emotional at the end. Who were you hugging?
It was my sister, because yesterday I got to know that there is a possibility of me being in the goal today, so I called them immediately, and my sister came, her boyfriend, and my parents, so I was so happy to have them here in such a special night.
Was that because your dad was a goalkeeper as well, played for Czech Republic? Was that him just behind your sister?
Yeah, it was him. Yeah, I hope he's proud. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure he is. That's the thing, isn't it? I mean, you know it as well, Dom. It's not just a special night for you; it's the whole family.
Yeah, definitely the whole family. Because my grandfather was also a goalkeeper, so he was watching as well, definitely. So I hope they are all happy, and I'm happy for them.
Lastly, Dom, talk us through your highs and lows tonight. 76th minute, I think, looks like you put Tottenham 1-0 up and it doesn't happen. And then, what a hand you had in Lucas winning the game for you.
Yeah, that's the only thing I don't really like about VAR when I score.
When it takes your goals away.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bit of a killer. Looked quite close, to be honest, so a bit unlucky with that one. But we managed to still get the goal. It's a great ball from Pedro, and I had to get there first, use my body and play Lucas, and it was a great finish from him as well. Well played, both of you. Brilliant. Thank you.
Well done, Anton.
He was very happy at the end. He's confident, isn't he? Lovely reaction with Postecoglou. And then, as we heard, into the crowd, that's his sister, and his family was there as well. And he comes from good goalkeeping stock. Dad a goalkeeper, grandfather a goalkeeper. It's just a great story, isn't it?
Yeah, very, very proud moment. As you say, he's only been in the building 3 days, and then to go out onto the big stage and get the opportunity at 21. I mean, Spurs have needed a goalkeeper. You know, Fraser Forster, the experienced number 2, has come in. Obviously missing at the weekend with illness. You know, so it was a big night for him, and he didn't disappoint. He certainly excelled. He went out there with an enormous amount of credit, confidence, belief in his own ability, and this boy didn't disappoint. I mean, you see just there, he catches it, sees it was Jota coming in. Everything he did, even here closing the angle, I thought this was a great save with Núñez. He stands big, gets his arm up. I was just, he used class, he used confidence, he did everything in his own time. And a real proud night.
Great save, that one.
Yeah, great save.
You can imagine, I mean, as a kid growing up with obviously his dad was a keeper, his granddad, I mean, they probably didn't do a lot else. But it's great, you know, they are catching oranges in the house. I mean, genuinely, that would have been what it was like in that household. Yeah. That he's been...
It's a lovely insight into what footballing families do, isn't it?
He's been born into the game, you know, and it gives you... But even what I like all of that. I like what you've just shown there, but I also like how he was with everybody when he walked off, and he's high-fiving people. He's obviously got a nice way about him. He's enjoyed the moment. I mean, he's an incredible talent. 21 years of age. He needed a bit of luck, obviously, with Trent's shot when you get one of your centre-backs gets in the right position for you. But all in all, what a debut for him.
But also, what we expect from goalkeepers now, and particularly what's expected from them here, and to only have those 3 days and to understand where the position of your teammates are when they need you to have the ball at your feet, that's where the credit is.
Yeah, I think it's common knowledge now in modern football that goalkeepers need to be able to play with their feet, and you know he's not had enough time to. He's obviously been recruited at Tottenham for a reason. You know, he's clearly got a huge amount of potential, but he's clearly got a huge amount of ability right now in the moment, and he showed it tonight. Confidence. He's got probably one of the best front threes in the league, if not Europe, pressing him tonight in terms of Salah, Jota, Diaz when he came on, Núñez, Curtis Jones adding to that press, and he just looked confident. It was fantastic to watch.
Did your dad used to throw oranges at you for you to
keep them up?
We will hear from both managers.
Usually able to walk into these interviews and provide a very calm analysis. Is that a bit more difficult to do this evening?
No, not at all. It's 15, 20 minutes, half an hour after the game, so it's not so difficult to be calm. The moment it happens, it's more difficult to stay calm. But afterwards, you have to accept the decision, and that's what we have to do.
Yeah, okay. I mean, obvious question, I suppose. What do you make of the decision not to give a second yellow to Lucas Bergvall?
I think everyone who stands in front of camera will tell you that it had a big influence on the game. It didn't feel to me as if we were ever going to lose here. You never know. In the moment, things can change. This is what we saw. So it was The decision he made had a lot of impact, of course, on the result tonight. And there's nothing else I can say about it. It is. I think everybody would tell you this.
Yeah, there are loads of consequences that kind of ripple out from it. One of them being, Tsimikas is then not on the pitch to help you defend the goal.
Yeah. That is in general a rule I definitely don't like. Not only about today, but it happened during this whole season, that if a player is injured or gets a hard tackle, it's not always necessary to give a yellow. Maybe this time he did, but not always necessary to give a yellow. But if a player then gets treatment, then he always has to go out for 30 and sometimes 45 seconds. I don't really understand why this is always necessary, but okay, it's a rule, so I accept it. Then conceding it and even the player scoring it, that maybe should have had his second yellow card is not only for us not ideal, but I think, of course I don't know. I think maybe even the referee was like, is this really happening? Is he scoring now that goal? But he couldn't change it, and he didn't have to speak to the whole stadium why he made the decision, because it wasn't a VAR decision.
Have you spoken to him now in the tunnel?
No, the fourth official told me that why he thought it wasn't a second yellow, and of course he heard that probably from the referee. Then when we came inside, Robbo was asking the referee, what we can say about it is that he said he didn't stop the counter-attack. Now, every manager would prefer, of course, a second yellow compared to a counter-attack that goes on without one player and that still has to go 80 yards maybe. And then the second thing is if you stop a counter-attack with a reckless challenge, then he could still give his yellow, but he didn't see it as a reckless challenge. And probably that's the second thing we can debate about. So, yeah. It is what it is. The positive thing for us is that we hate to lose. I hate to lose. But the good thing is, if you ever have to lose, it's better to lose when there's still a second leg to be played.
Why was it such a different game to the league match here 2.5 weeks ago?
I'm not so sure if it was such a different game than it was back then. The biggest difference is that we saw 9 goals back then and we only saw 1 today. But I think it was, again, a game where both teams wanted to press the other team high. Again, it was a team where both teams wanted to bring the ball out from the back. And chances, but not as many as the last time. But for me, I like this performance from us a bit more than the one on Sunday. But it's also a completely different game, facing a team that wants to play the ball out from the back, facing a team that plays with 4 attackers instead of 2, facing a team that presses high instead of a low block. So, yeah, that's also completely different than last Sunday.
In possession, would you say tonight, not quite at your best, or is that down to what you've just outlined with the way Tottenham press, the number of attackers they have?
Sometimes if you play with more attackers, that doesn't help you, not always in the way you press and in defense. So that's probably not the excuse, but we always knew that they would come up with a reaction after the 6-3. We always knew how important this was, not only for the players but also for the fans over here. So we could expect maybe something else. But I do agree with you. We probably played one of our best, maybe the best game against Tottenham 2 weeks ago, and we're hoping to reach this level every single time. But that's not going to be easy. That's also not going to happen in the upcoming 20, 30 games we're going to play. This, for me, was definitely good enough to go away here with a result. I think we maybe even deserved, as a minimum, we deserved to have a result. And maybe even with 1 point, I would have been a bit disappointed. But to go away with a loss is definitely not what we deserve today.
But it does set you up for the second leg at Anfield, all to play for.
It's clear what we have to do, but everybody knows about the injuries of Tottenham, and the window is still open, so they can come up maybe with even a stronger team at Anfield. The good thing for us is then we are there with 60,000 people, far from ideal starting position when we play the second leg. But the good thing is we have a second leg to play for.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I mean, it is set up brilliantly, isn't it, for that second leg? The atmosphere and the needle around Anfield, given the way that winner was scored, will just go up a couple of notches.
Yeah, and Virgil van Dijk, when he did his post-match interview, was already referring to it, and it's in 4 weeks' time. There's plenty of games to be played between now and then, but like you say, I mean, that adds an added spice to what will already be a fantastic game.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it has been... Obviously, Sunday was tough with the result because I think everybody in that stadium thought they were going to wipe the floor of Manchester United. It didn't happen. Today, I certainly felt that Liverpool, with a team that he picked, would have won this game. They go to Accrington. Is it Accrington at home? A huge game next midweek against Nottingham Forest, who have been in fantastic form. That's a real challenge. It's a case of digging in now. This is I wouldn't call it a wobble, but it's been a tough 3 or 4 days for them. So they've got to make sure they get their concentration back. Still a lot to be played in these. And I think the same with the game we watched yesterday as well with Arsenal. That isn't over yet. That's going to be a really tough game for Newcastle. They've got to get across the line. But what Michael said it at the start of the show. He said, just give themselves something to go on for Tottenham Hotspur, and that's what they've certainly done.
Oh, 100%, Jamie. Yeah, they can be proud tonight, like we've said, and they take the lead to Anfield on February the 6th.
But the other positives from saying you mentioned some of the young players. You mentioned the goalkeeper and Archie Gray and Bergvall, but also those players who have maybe been more squad players over Jed Spence playing as a left back. Dragusin, who's been in and out and had to go off at the weekend with illness at half time, was excellent alongside Gray.
And these players have been questioned well over recent weeks, and it's all well and good talking about your Mickey van der Vens, your Romeros, your Vicarios. How much these players feel? All right, you're talking about the big players, and we understand they'll realise that, and they've never shirked. They've always put themselves out there, and they've got the rewards tonight, and they'll enjoy it. They go to Tamworth, which will be interesting for them at the weekend in the FA Cup, and then a North London derby. That'll be different, and then a North London derby next Wednesday. But they should be delighted with that performance. They've given themselves a head start going to Anfield, but they're going to have to play as well as they did tonight, and hopefully Liverpool will have an off night again, because Anfield is a fortress. We know that. We've seen how good Liverpool have been all season, but it's Spurs night tonight.
What was going on? Anything? Did it work? Well, it worked. But I mean, they knew it was coming back for offside anyhow, didn't they?
It's not for me. I know we have to move the game on. VAR. Fans don't need to know it's an offside. They already know it's an offside. It's a no goal. As soon as they see him kick off there, they know it's not their goal. I don't think it's adding anything to the game. All it's doing is making it very difficult for referees. I'm sure if you asked them, are you enjoying that? Absolutely not.
It was actually difficult to hear at that moment in here because of all the boos over him, wasn't it? You couldn't hear him as much. Right, let's get some thoughts from Ange Postecoglou net. Here he is with Patrick Davison.
Firstly, because obviously a player's health is more important even than a win like that, how is Rodrigo Bentancur?
Yeah, look, obviously don't have all the information, but my understanding is he's conscious. He was conscious kind of when he got to the dressing rooms. Obviously, we took him to hospital just to get checked over. Worrying and always a concern, but from what I know at this stage, he's hopefully be okay.
It is at the time, isn't it, when you see something like that, really distressing sight. How hard then after that for the rest of the group to refocus and go again?
It's just our lot at the moment, We're having to deal with adversity all the time. We started the game awfully well, almost scored just before that moment, and then obviously we lose a key player, and in those kind of circumstances. So, this lot are nothing if not resilient. They just keep going, and they did today. Yeah.
So to the game, you said in your pre-match, whatever energy they've got, they will give it. They absolutely did, didn't they?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They have been, and it's incredible when you think of we've got a couple of 18-year-olds out there, one playing out of position, a left back who's not a left back, a goalkeeper making his debut. The boys gave everything. We had to work hard, and even at the end of the game, they've put on some significant talent. We can't make those changes, but the guys kept going. We've got a deserved goal over it.
Yeah, your goalkeeper, young goalkeeper, 21, Antonin Kinski. I mean, he's going to fit right in, isn't he? What a confident lad.
Yeah, no, we kind of sensed that. I certainly did when I had my first chat to him before we signed him, and it's a big part of it. When you're thinking about, maybe I downplayed it before the game, but that's a big occasion for a young man. First time out of the country in such a significant game against a massive opponent. He handled himself outstandingly.
Yeah, and when you say and have said through the difficult moments, there's a team in there. You see that with the young players tonight. I mean, Lucas Bergvall, not just the goal.
Outstanding. He was. Yeah, I mean, I've just seen so much growth. It's just that's been masked by our poor form, our results, but I've got no doubt we'll get through this period and we'll get our players back, and what we'll have found is in the meantime we've got some real players ready to sort of turn us into the team we want to be.
How much did you enjoy the goal? The work from Dom Solanke is top draw.
Yeah, unbelievable. Again, I don't know where he gets the energy from, and at times I feel sorry for him, just to give him a bit of a break, but he just keeps soldiering on, and against two pretty big centre halves there, and he's let the composure, and unbelievable finish. Look, I thought we deserved it on the night. There was fine margins. The offside was, just so close. We had a great chance before that. So, I think we deserved the victory, and really pleased the players get rewards.
Yeah, I could see you shaking your head when the goal was disallowed. Is that just general dislike of VAR? Did you spot something particular or specific with that decision?
If you're under any sort of illusions, total dislike.
Not a fan?
No, that hasn't changed. And if people think that announcement tonight added anything to the game, I'm sorry.
Was that the head shaking? Is that the reason?
Well, really, just get on with it, mate. It used to be, you put your flag up and the game goes on. But anyway, doesn't matter.
Yeah, listen, look, I know before I asked this, you've had more than your fair share of bad luck. Did you get a slice of luck with the goal? Lucas Bergvall lucky to be on the pitch?
Yeah, great question. No, he wasn't. He wasn't. Because because again, people misinterpret my comments from the other day. The rule is, and we've been told for quite a while now, that if advantage gets played, as long as it's not a cynical tackle, then the yellow card doesn't, because we've been screaming for it for the last 2 months. It's happened to us consistently. Have a look at our games. And we've asked the officials, and they've said, if we play advantage, as long as it's not a cynical tackle, then the yellow card doesn't get paid. Now, to me, that was pretty clear.
OK, so it's lucky you didn't get your way and no one listened then.
No, I'm saying, well, that's the rule. So we've had the copper for the last 6 weeks, and we kind of abided by the rules today.
So given the context, everything around, I know it's only half-time, but this goes down as a special night, doesn't it?
It does, because the players get rewarded for, what they've been through for the last 2 months. And, yeah, you're right. We haven't sort of done anything. It's only half-time, and, going to Liverpool's not easy. But just that feeling of having a really strong victory against a top opponent, I want the players to feel good about it, because they've put in a massive shift this last couple of months with little reward, and it hasn't been through the want of trying.
And that second season trophy just a little bit closer.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, people can keep sort of mocking me about it.
I'm absolutely not doing that.
We'll see.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, mate. Thanks, mate.
We're not sure, are we, about this?
I'm
if
pretty
you play
sure.
advantage.
I think he's got that wrong.
Yeah.
I think you are.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We're not sure
it's
about
not usual to go back and book somebody, but referees certainly can do that. And it was definitely a second yellow card. But he's obviously spoken to someone. I think when you speak to referees, I think most of them would say that I've seen it happen. And I think that's probably what ends up saving him, the fact that a lot happens after that. But I think if you everyone would say that is a second yellow card. It's a cynical tackle.
I thought he might have come out and said he was unfortunate to get the first one. Not the fact that... for me, it was a clear second yellow card. The second challenge was a yellow card. So that was a surprise for me. I thought he might have gone down the first one.
Yeah, that's the first one. I mean, the other thing with what he said was, unless it is a cynical tackle, you could argue that is a cynical tackle. You could argue, couldn't you, Izzy?
It's a very cynical tackle.
He's trying to stop a
counter-attack. He's stopping a counter-attack, but you can
Yeah.
see it happening before it happens, because you know that he's already on a yellow card and you think he's actually going to get sent off here. And even after the play resumed, you just see this happening a mile off. He's trying to stop Tsimikas. He's on a high. He's had a fantastic game. It's a late challenge. Yes, it's a yellow card. It doesn't get given, and then ironically he goes on and scores the winner.
Just one final thing on Tottenham. When we look ahead to the second leg, and we mentioned it earlier, there are a lot of players who've been missing tonight and have been missing recently. Suspension, injuries, illnesses. Several of them will be back for that second leg.
Yeah, and that is huge. I said they couldn't win the tie tonight, but they could lose it, and I believed that. I mean, tonight was.
You also said it'd be 6-0.
No, I said it couldn't. No, I was here when it was 6. Look, the Spurs fans will have been coming knowing that only happened just before Christmas, and that Liverpool can do that to the best. And Spurs have been depleted with injuries, confidence, you name it. And then they had another setback when Benson Kern got injured so early on in the game, and they reacted tremendously well. But there's an awful long way to go in this tie. Believe me, you go into Anfield, it's a tough.
I wouldn't have picked 1-0 today, though. No. I didn't think they could keep Liverpool. But it just shows you how brave they were, how they defended, and that little bit of quality at the end. It was a brilliant performance from Spurs.
So in the Premier League, just a 1 goal tonight in favour of Spurs. Yesterday, Arsenal lost 2-0 at home to Newcastle United. It was Anthony Gordon and Alexander Isak that were the difference for the Magpies. And now we've got the second legs to come, and then the final, of course, on March 16th. Let's take you out to our rules expert, though, Christina Unkel, to get her thoughts on a couple of things that we saw tonight. Christina, I guess we've got to start with that yellow card, or the yellow card that never came. Should Lucas Bergvall have been sent off in the end, do you think?
So I'm going to agree with the boys here. Yes, Nigel, I'm agreeing with you. That should have been a second yellow card for it. And to use Nico's words, this textbook kind of a yellow card. And the reason we're giving it is for the reckless nature of that challenge. Advantage is being given here, or at least the referee has not given the advantage in that respect of coming back and giving it to. He's allowing game to flow in that respect. You can do this. This is allowed. But coming back to give that second yellow card, not because it's a stopping a promising attack or a technical nature, but because the reasoning here would be for a reckless challenge due to the severity of potentially impacting that player.
I mean, it's one of those where you pick your reason. It is also a tactical foul. They're going on the counterattack, and it's reckless, and it's late. And it's there, he's stopping and counter. I mean, it qualifies under every single check box for me that it's a second yellow card.
Mm-hmm. Nico, you're in agreement?
I mean, I'm putting myself in Arne Slot's shoes. I understand that you can have an off game. Liverpool have been exceptional all season long, save a couple of games here or there, in 2 games now that they've lost. And you're going to grind out a result somehow. And then you feel so hard done by a botched call, because this is a botched call. This is a clear and obvious error
by the referee.
Mm-hmm. It feels like you were wronged, and there's no way to correct that.
Mm-hmm. And at that level there, it makes a difference. When you talk about the game being in the 85th minute or so, you're Liverpool, the quality of players that you've got, and you go against Tottenham when there'll be a man down, that makes a difference at that high level.
And Christina, if he had given the red card, wouldn't it have been better for him to give that in that instance, or VAR then still can't check it because it was 2 yellows, or they could check it then because it was a red?
Poppy, you hit it on the head. That tackle itself doesn't rise to the level of a direct red card, which is only what VAR can check. And because it would have just been a yellow card, and that's all the recommendation or the preferred decision would have been, VAR can't intervene. So really the communication has to happen between the officials on the field and the fourth official that's sitting right there and standing, giving that information to the referee. Come back. If you're giving advantage, you can come back and still give that yellow card, and just heads up, it's a second yellow red. We understand the gravity of the game and kind of what it means. And sometimes as referees, we have the ability to manage the game and maybe manage a situation. But in this one, this is what we call 100% misconduct and a yellow card.
No, all good. Understood. She answered my question in that.
Okay.
No, she answered my question. Because I think the awkwardness of it, the only thing I could think of is that he let the play go on, and then he either forgot about it, or he was like, I gave him the advantage. I don't know. I'm just trying to see how it's possible.
It's happened before.
How can you make that mistake?
Yeah, but Grella, referees have played advantage before and gone back and booked players after, because they take an eye on it. So that referee there has to own it. He made a massive mistake in that game. Mm-hmm. There's no other ways to look at it.
Okay, Chris. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Christina.
Yeah, I was saying the one thing, and kind of to Grella's point, that's what I kept trying to find on the clip, is the body language of the center referee. I never saw him put an arm up in the air indicating an advantage was being given. And that's kind of one of those things. I try to take a look at some different angles and whatnot. I don't see him putting his hand up. So therefore, he's indicating he doesn't even have a foul in the first place, which is why he would not come back and give that yellow card. And so that's just a conversation of, does the referee did the referee even see that it was a foul and gave the advantage, or did the referee not think it was a foul in the first place? That's really, from us, from an educational standpoint, what we have to identify first. Did he even see the play to even recognize that it was a foul in the first place?
Right. Oh boy, if you're missing those.
If he doesn't see that as a foul, then I don't know how he's refereeing.
Yeah,
if you're missing those.
Whichever way you look at it, it's an awful mistake of the referee, period. There's no other way to sell this. But I mean, that's the nature of the game, right? The referees can also make mistakes. It's just that in this era with VAR, it feels like we're scrutinizing refereeing even more. Christina, I do want to ask you about something, a particularity that happened in this game. We finally got the in-stadium VAR announcements. I'm not a fan. I don't think it adds more than what we already know, Christina, but from the referees committee, you like this?
So, Nico, I'm with you on it. There's certain situations, right? If right here, right, the goal being taken back for offsides is like, right, goal denied because of offside. Everyone's like, of course it is, right? So there's certain situations that are just obvious, that are factual. Also, Nico, you have a higher level, and I can say this, have a higher level of knowledge of the laws of the game than what I would say is the average footballer. And I have, done rules analysis or the laws of the game analysis around the world, and I could tell you, not everybody knows the laws of the game around the world. So I kind of defer a little to you on that, Nico. So I do like it for situations that might be gray, where people don't understand that it was a foul that occurred within the attacking phase of play. So everyone's focused on that final goal scored, but yet they didn't realize the conversion or the transition of play happened because of a foul. So there's certain gray and subjective areas that I prefer, and I appreciate it when it's explained. But for a simple offside, it just kind of seems a little bit unnecessary waste of time. But it's kind of fun to get on the mic as a referee.
When it's objective, I completely understand it. It might feel redundant, right? But I do agree with you, Christina. I would like an explanation. When it's a handball and you're like, why is that a handball? Explain. He's making his body unnaturally bigger. And from my judgment, from the distance of where that shot came off, convince me about your call, something like that. I don't know what the explanation is going to be. So I'm not texting you after the game, Christina, hey, this is what happened, and I'm sending you a 1 minute long WhatsApp audio message so I can get an explanation. Hopefully, instead of just saying, I deemed it was a handball, penalty. That's not going to give me, of course, you're giving the penalty. You thought it was a handball. Do you think they're going to explain why these subjective calls are being called the way that they are?
I mean, there's a very big push to having the audio conversation between the VAR and the referee being public and available to be heard by the in-stadium, right? I believe cricket does it. So, or it might be rugby, but I know there's a push for that because I think that's what you all are looking for, right? To your point with the handling as an example, your arm is outside a natural position. Okay, but how extent and is the arm moving towards it and how does that negate? So it's just finding those buzzwords, which is kind of what I do with you guys, where instead of taking 20 years of experience and explaining it, trying to bring that down into a very small soundbite to be able to communicate that information within 5 to 10 seconds in a live game and not taking an entire analysis.
Well, it's going to be interesting, isn't it, to see you moving forward. Christina, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you soon.
All right, sounds good. Glad my technology worked today.
Was a bit of a new look, wasn't it, to see them announce